First off, I really, really appreciate it. I know our players do that. This place was pretty packed by the time we got into the first quarter there. So that's great for us, and we appreciate it. So Topper Nation, thank you for that. I hope that it's that packed when we go to play in the tournament coming up in a month or so. All right. I thought the game, it was dictated by the way that we've grown defensively. All right. We did a really, really good job of making them earn points for the most part. And that's what you have to do against a good team. Now, they still, shoot a pretty high percentage, but they had to work for them. So now all of a sudden, it's a grinded out kind of game where they've really got to work for it. I mean, hats off to her. I've said it before. Sarah Kochman's the real deal. And for her to score 20, but she had to work. She had to take 22 shots to get it. That's a testament to our defense. And that defense allowed us to play in tempo in the second half, which is what we desperately needed. I am very proud of our kids, though. In the first half, we had to play their game. We kind of played their tempo, which I hate to do, which is slow it down. But they executed. Our kids executed to a T. They made us look good as a coaching staff because of the buy-in and just taking what was there. But I think the stat that continues to, be who we are, 24 assists on 30 made field goals. That's spectacular. It's amazing how much this team does not care who gets the credit and they share the basketball. I can't wait to rewatch it and restat what the assists are in our world because the amount of extra passes that were thrown today was spectacular.
Kyle, as you kind of alluded to there, a lot of the game was played in the half court. Good sign for you guys that you're able to, you guys you obviously like to get out and run. Good sign that you're able to find a way of playing a different kind of game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a really, really good sign because I think you're seeing teams are throwing so many different things at us. So they're obviously wanted to take us out of tempo and slow the game down. All right, and early on they were like, we're going to pressure their guards, so then they let Marissa Brown get more touches than I'm sure Coach McDonald really wanted her to get. A couple games ago, now they're taking and tripling and doubling Marissa Brown, so now our guards step up. And I think the thing that you're seeing is we're becoming a pretty dangerous team and we can win in different ways. And that's a testament to these guys buying in, but most importantly, just them realizing each night's going to be somebody else's night, Tonight, it's these two that put up the big numbers. The other night, it was somebody else. And probably when we play next week, it could be somebody different. But I think it's a huge, huge point that you just made there. And that makes me feel good going into this, the last of the grind of the season in February here.
Kind of interesting for you as a coaching staff to every night go in and have to kind of feel your way through it because, like you said, one night they're double and triple and Marissa Brown. And tonight, for the most part, they decided to go one-on-one and that's not going to work very often.
Yeah, and I think it's our kids. For us, it makes it difficult, but it's amazing. Like when we get into these huddles, I wish you guys could see it. Just the look in these kids' eyes with the laser focus, listening to us, but also smiling and telling each other like what needs to happen next. And then they don't know it, but I eavesdrop on them when they go back out to the court and the stuff they're saying. You talk about kids that get it and are doing the things that they're asked to do. It's fun to watch. I love coaching this team. I really do.
They came out in the third quarter, I think, scored the first 8 points. And things were kind of stagnant with you guys, and it looked like it was a little bit of a danger time, and you guys hit them right back with 11-0 run, and pretty much that was the game.
Yeah, and we've talked about this all year. Our ability to score in spurts. They got their 8 over a few different possessions in a grinded out kind of fashion for the most part. Ours happened pretty quickly, and that's kind of who we've become, and that's where, I've learned with this group to trust them that I don't need to hit the panic button and call early timeouts a lot of times because they're going to play themselves out of it. That's a good feeling for a coach to have that, that's for sure.
Marissa, talk about the last couple 3 games. It just seems like you've drawn a real crowd, and they're fronting behind, they're dropping down on you. What was your feeling this afternoon when you got in the game for a few minutes and you realized that you weren't getting doubled down on and you were getting a lot more touches?
I think it just shows that they can triple team me and the guards will get their shots, and then when they decide to go out, then I can get more touches.
Is it possible that the way that teams took her away these last couple games, you're going to be able to look back and say they actually did you a favor because you had to find other ways?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt about that. I think that that's a huge thing, and we talk about it all the time. It's just finding a way to win. You know how we approach it at this point. You guys have heard me say it 1,000 times. Every game's a national title to us. Like, that's the way we approach this thing. And the reality is that finding different ways to win is how you win championships. And there's a lot of season left. I know where we're sitting right now. As far as I'm concerned, we're 1-0, and we still are in this thing fighting and clawing every single day to try to fight for that championship. And we will continue to do so.
From where you guys were at this point last year to now, 10 wins in the conference. I know you talk and believe a lot about getting the program back to where it's supposed to be. Do you feel like you're on track here?
I think we're making the right steps. I do, I'm greedy. I wish we had one or two more. There's no doubt about it. But I think that the thing that the reason I know we're getting back there is because I see what these kids do day in and day out. And I know we have the kind of kids and they've made the kind of growth that's necessary to get it back to where it belongs. And I think everybody's starting to see that, top to bottom, from fellow leaders of this program to fellow alums of this program. They're feeling that we're getting back to where we are, but we still have work to do. We do. Hey, one last thing here. I brought Morgan up. We talk about it doesn't matter, in this program at all whose night it is, night in and night out. And Morgan has done a phenomenal job of accepting a role. She transfers in here. Everybody in the world goes, "Ooh, D1 transfer," and that's the cliche. You've got other teams in this conference that talk all about Division I transfers constantly. We don't look at it that way. We look at recruiting players. And Morgan has done a phenomenal job, as well as others like Olivia Belknap, of being an instant offense, an instant spurt off the bench, and it helps drive us. So she hasn't questioned it one time. She's fought for it, and I just think people need to realize that that's one of the reasons we are where we are, is that this team does not care about who starts, who finishes, anything else. They know that they trust we're going to put them where they need to be. So I just want to commend Morgan as well as other players on this team.